Hi, this is Marlene Dodge, and this is my EDL 856 Module 1 personal introduction. That's a picture of me and my daughter Emily. We were at Palo Duro Canyon, which is beautiful. So I moved from southwestern Florida about 10 years ago. I had 12 years of teaching in Florida. I mainly taught special education. A lot of it was working in corrections. Um, So we moved to southwestern Kansas in 2010, and in 2011 I started working with High Plains Educational Co-op in Ulysses High School. I have grades 9 through 12, and I absolutely love doing what I'm doing. So for my future plans, I'm hoping to remain with High Plains Educational Cooperative. I love the cause. I truly believe in everything that we stand for. And I want to continue to help others to understand the value of providing such needed quality. I think that's the word, the quality services to students in special education. I've seen it done in Florida, and I've seen it done in Kansas with High Plains Co-op. And it is such a drastic difference at how much better served students are here than what they were in Florida. And so I would very much love to continue to be a part of that and to help others to see the value in this and to do it well. So that kids are getting what they need in their classes. I don't have a whole lot of spare time, but when I do have spare time, it all goes into helping out on our smaller ranch. We have about 40 head of cattle, goats, horses, dogs, cats. We got through our kidding season with all our goats, and now we're at our peak and calving seasons. Thank God for good weather. I love running. I'm working on a huge home addition that we took on because we weren't completely sane at the time. I guess we didn't feel like we had enough going on, and so why not throw something else ridiculous on our plate? I have the Fort Hays State University classes that I'm taking, and then, of course, we all are dealing with coronavirus and online schools and figuring out what in the world we're going to do for each of these kids, especially the ones that I have that are in special education. We're really trying to be creative and figure out how exactly we can make this work for all of them. Okay, so school communication. With parents, we have several options of how we communicate with them. We do phone calls. Text messages are usually preferred. We have a remind method where the parents just type a number in for their text messages, and then they're sent out messages anytime the school sends them out. That works really great. It's free for everybody. We have email. Parents don't usually use email too well. Some of them are outstanding of it. Some of them open an account just so that they can sign their kids up for school, and then they forget their password and log in, and they have to open another one the following year. So sometimes email is not the greatest way to communicate, but it is used pretty frequently. Power School app is fabulous. If the more parents we can get to download that app, the better they are at keeping up with their kids. And we're trying to work toward putting more comments in our Power School app so that parents can see if there's something going on. It's just another form of communication of letting them know what's going on, and they can talk to us about it. Our district website and high school website, we have Facebook and Twitter attached to those. They do a great job of keeping those updated, and parents do look at those pretty frequently. We do send letters home in English and in Spanish. It doesn't always do a whole lot of good. Most of my high school kids will leave them on a desk and walk out without them. So luckily, a lot of times if we send out a letter, there is a remind message that's going out as well. Face-to-face meetings with parents are outstanding. I do them a lot more than probably a lot of teachers in the general ed because of their caseloads compared to mine. But we do have parent-teacher conferences twice a year, and so we have not had the participation that we've wanted in parent-teacher conferences, so we are working to figure out how to improve that and how to have more of that face-to-face time with parents. Google surveys and forums go out to parents, and now we have Zoom, which I think we're going to be using more frequently. I am very unfamiliar with it, but it is on every one of these slides because I think it has become very relevant very quickly. With students, uh, a lot of the same methods are used for communication. Kids are excellent at texting. In fact, they prefer it. Twitter, Google Classroom is used. That is probably one of the biggest things I use with a lot of my students. Um, I love that they can share a Google Doc with me and they can tell me ahead of time, hey, Miss Dodge, can you check this out when you get home tonight? Can you give me any pointers? And I'll tell them, yeah, at this time, go ahead and get on there so that you can see my comments in real time and they can fix stuff. And then I know they've got it done and they know they have it done. And it's a pretty fabulous tool. They have email. Kids are good with email. They have the same remind messages. Those kids have remind for sports. They have it for everything. Power School, a lot of them are very good at keeping up with Power School and their grades. I wish they all were, but most of my caseload is very good about keeping up with it. Phone calls happen on occasion with students. A lot of times those happen more so if we can't get to a parent. District websites, again, high school Facebook, they all stay up to date with it. Google Drive, we can send documents out to all the students so that they have it on their Google Drive. Google surveys go out to kids. And again, Zoom and FaceTime, I think, are going to become really utilized in the upcoming weeks. Teacher to teacher, we have emails, face-to-face meetings, faculty meetings. I'm going to rewind a little bit. A lot of times with emails, I think we have to be very careful when we're communicating using the form of email. There's times I go to type something trying to explain why a kid needs something, and I have to stop myself and go, okay, this isn't very good to explain this over an email, and I really need to just go visit face-to-face with that teacher and explain it better. I think there's too many miscommunications with emails, and so I think a lot of times we need to steer clear of those. And then remind, all the teachers have remind. Mine's been going off like crazy since the coronavirus has shut everybody down. Google Drive is fantastic. We're all linked to where documents go out to everybody. District websites, again, high school Facebook. Teachers are great about posting things on Facebook of what's going on in their classes, which is on the next page, about community and how much they love seeing those things. Google surveys, and again, Zoom with High Plains. We have a Zoom meeting tomorrow, so that'll be the first time I get to see how this works. And I'm thinking that the high school is probably going to end up going to a Zoom platform as well for our meeting on Monday. With community members, again, we have the website. I touched on that. The community loves seeing pictures. They love seeing the sports. They love seeing what's going on with their tax dollars they're paying for. Our newspaper does a phenomenal job of covering things. The radio station does as well. They help get out information. And then we have school board meetings that are open up. Not a whole lot of people attend those, and I don't think a whole lot of people go on our website to see what the minutes were for the school board meetings, which I do think more people should be looking into if they want to know what's going on in the schools. So as far as the readings go and future personal introductions, normally I'm very comfortable doing an introduction, but there was a lot of things in the readings that I thought were pretty profound. And there were things that you don't always think about when you're starting to introduce yourself to a group. And I love, how you can make yourself unforgettable and what is your story. But one of the things that I'm kind of jumping over something a little bit. One of the things I liked the most about it was the fact that one of the readings said when we introduce ourselves and start with our story, which is a vivid description of why we do what we do and who we are, people are much more likely to remember us. So I do think it's really important for us to say why we do what we do. A lot of times all we do is we say what we do, and we don't give the why we do it. Or we say, well, I love teaching. And I think there is more to it, and that's why I tried to, on the second slide, to get the message across of how strongly I believe in what I'm doing with special education and with High Plains Educational Co-op. And I want others to see the value in helping kids succeed. So the why I do what I do, I think is so incredibly valuable. And I think it helps people believe in you. Uh, what experience can you bring to the table? I think that's great. I think a lot of times people want to hear, what have you done? What have you done in teaching? What is it as an administrator that you've gone through to where you can relate to the people that are sitting in front of you that you are supposed to be teaching them and helping them to be better professionals? So I do think what experience you can bring to the table does need to be put out there for teachers. I know it helps me with buy-in. When they have a good, hefty amount of experience behind them, I appreciate that. Humor is huge. I use it with my students all the time. I use it with faculty as well. And I find out that if you can get people laughing, you can kind of grab an audience. Laughter is so powerful. But with laughter and with humor, you must have that sincerity. You must believe in what you are doing. And so the readings, I really did love them. And I really, again, the what is it that I do and why I do it portion, that's what really stuck out to me with the readings. So moving on, our district strategic policies for communicating effectively. We don't really have set district procedures for communication. KISA has put an emphasis on communication, but with our district, they've left it more so up to the schools as to how we handle communication. One of the things that we started this year are our communication logs. We revised them. We had a communication log that everybody ended up telling us in a survey that it was way too much information. So we shortened it into a Google form, and people seem to really like that a whole lot more. And so that's one of the things we're using for communication logs. If anytime you speak to a parent, that way we can track it and we can make sure that we are communicating and touching base with parents. Parent-teacher conferences, twice a year we have those. We have wraparound meetings. Our principal started a really neat thing this year, 10-minute monthly meetings with teachers. He throws out a topic of what he wants to discuss at the parent-teacher or the faculty meetings every month. And then teachers have a set time and 10 minutes they can go in and discuss that topic with him. I've heard a lot of good feedback from that, and I think teachers value that he's taken the time out of his day to speak with people and find out what's going on and how everybody's doing. But again, the policies are set forth by each school. It's not really district-wide. High Plains Educational Co-op, we have so much communication involved, and it's about to increase exponentially. We have our IEP meetings. We have all our conversations that we have prior to that. Our communication logs. We have to keep pretty tight communication logs. I'm probably on a weekly to every other week basis with my parents. Maybe that's overkill. My parents seem to really like it. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time out of my day to do it. Now, I think this is going to really ramp things up. Our communication, I read over some of the information that they presented to us already. Everything has changed as we know it. As far as communication goes, it is going to be ramped up quite a bit. And so it's going to be a crazy ride for the next 9 weeks or however long it takes for this to slow down. And hopefully it's sooner than later. So I very much look forward to learning along everyone in this class. I think we have a really interesting opportunity to have this class at this point in time, because communication is going to evolve into something so different for a lot of us. And so it'll be really interesting on the different levels between teachers and administrators and community members and parents and students, how we make this all work. Um, so everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to learning alongside of you throughout this crazy 8 weeks.